On September the 2nd, we have a beautiful new moon in the sign of Virgo. It is going to be at 11 degrees Virgo. 11 is a master number, so it is definitely an indication of a beautiful new beginning. 11 is the number of like a gateway, right? When you put the two ones together, it represents a gateway or a door or a passage through which one needs to move through. So this new moon is going to very specifically have both personal and professional implications. So it is important to kind of get your ducks in a row, essentially, is what the energy is sort of guiding us towards. Virgo is a very organized sign. It loves order. Virgo also loves to put things into order. And so this Virgo new moon is calling us to create some welcomed and some very much needed order within our professional and personal lives. Let's get into it. So I'll talk a little bit about the personal aspects first that this new moon is bringing our awareness to. Then I'm going to be talking about the professional focus that we need to have at this time as we are moving into the fall season and summer is wrapping up. When we are changing seasons, it's usually also an indication to change pace. So in this case, the fall season, which is the harvest season, tends to be quite busy, right? And over the summer too, we tend to be busy. It's the summertime itself is a very active time of year. However, we do have more vacation time in the summer. You know, we take more trips and have more downtime. So this harvest season coming up in September is definitely one that is more active, more about kind of getting back into routine, getting back into things. So once I break down the personal and professional focus for this new moon, then I'm going to talk about all the other aspects that we have, because we have several other aspects going on. A lot of different energies are playing out with this new moon. So let's take a look at all of that. And of course, let's not forget, Mercury is officially ending its retrograde and turning direct today on the 28th of August. And so now we're going to be also moving into that Mercury direct energy. However, we are still going to be in shadow for the next 2 weeks. So let's start with the personal focus. So if you have fallen off the wheel over the summer, and if you have fallen off track a little bit with your health routines and with taking care of yourself, with maybe healthy eating, this Virgo new moon is asking you to rededicate yourself to your health goals, to your health routines, to healthy habits, and to really take more control over your health and really look at different ways in which you can improve your health, ways in which you can get a little bit more strict, get a little bit more disciplined with the way that you have been going about your health routines, your healthy eating habits. So it's time to get back to working out more and really dedicating yourself to that workout, to some kind of a specific goal. Set a goal for yourself for the remainder of this year. There's only 4 months left of 2024, so why not use this 4 months to really get yourself in shape or really get yourself into a much healthier place. You know, there are so many things, so many health ailments that we can very simply clean up by just diet and exercise alone. So can you imagine if you got yourself onto a really good health routine, started taking care of yourself better, being more active? It's not as hot now, so it is easier to be active or more active outside. And it's also a good time to really look at your eating habits and just cleaning up the diet. You know, it's time to now take away some of those indulgences that perhaps you have been enjoying all summer and look at your food's nutritional content. So it's about really getting real with yourself, getting honest with yourself, and making sure that you are getting back on track with those eating habits. Virgo, being a feminine sign, is also encouraging us with this new moon to really step into our feminine energy more. So step into that receiving energy, that softness, that nurturing side of ourselves, and to give, to reflect that nurturing to ourselves. So it's about really being more patient with yourself, being more disciplined, but also having compassion and having patience and having understanding for yourself, and honoring your cycles and honoring all the different things that you move through in a single month, right? It's also about embracing your sensitivity, embracing your your emotional sensitivity. A lot of the emotions are affected as well with this Virgo new moon because of some of the other planetary influences that we're having at this time. So you may be more emotional than usual right now, and that's perfectly okay. And it's about actually honoring that, letting yourself move into that sensitivity more, into the expression of that sensitivity in whatever way you need to, whether it's to express it to another person or just to express it in your journal for yourself. Either way, it's about honoring that more and dedicating yourself more to allowing that. This is also a very, very good time to go after what you desire, and having clarity and having order is going to really, really help you get there. So clarity and order, remember I talked about order being a huge Virgo trait, and Virgo desires that. Virgo wants us to be more clear, wants us to be more intentional, wants us to be more orderly, more disciplined, more in alignment with the things that we need to do. Virgo wants us to also be more in this energy of, doing what is required, doing what it takes to get ahead, to move the needle forward. It's about perseverance. It's also about embracing efficiency over perfection. So this is a very, very important time to move the needle forward and to focus on moving the needle forward rather than focusing on perfection. This new moon has some beautiful energy around pets as well. So this is also a very good time to adopt a pet if that is something that you are interested in, if it is something that you feel would really nurture or add to your life in a very positive way. Always make sure when adopting pets or when considering adopting pets, is this something that I can afford, because they do cost money, right? And to make sure that you can have a pet in a way that works for them as well, that you are around, you're home enough. So I only want to encourage you to get a pet if you can actually spare the time and the energy and the effort that it requires to, nurture and to take care of an animal who in turn will also take care of you. Right. So, but adopting a pet, if that is something that you have been considering for a long time, this is a really great, very supportive time to begin a new cycle with a new furry friend. Now let's move on to the professional focus that this new moon brings. And a big part of the message of the professional focus here is to really be in service or be of service to others. So there's a huge highlight here about really getting into that service mindset, into that heart set, right? Because it's not just about the mind, but really opening your heart to allow yourself to be in service to others in all kinds of different ways. And it doesn't necessarily have to be through your work. It could be through volunteering. And being of service, I often find, is also about just sharing what you do well, with other people. As long as it has a positive effect for other people, then this Virgo new moon is really encouraging you to share that, whether it's communication, whether it's art, whether it's cooking, whether it's making something. So anything and everything that is creative, anything where you are making something from nothing, is definitely going to be a beautiful way to share that service with others, to bring more beauty to the world, to bring more music, more laughter, more joy, more happiness, more support, more help, more fulfillment, all of those things. This is a very, very good time to embrace being more in service to other people. Now, when it comes to work, this is definitely a huge message. Of one of the biggest messages probably of this new moon is that it's very important, because it's in the sign of Virgo. Virgo is really encouraging us to be much, much more efficient rather than perfectionistic. Virgo is about efficiency and wants to get shit done, wants to make sure that the needle moves forward, that there is actual progression taking place. So this new moon is definitely going to encourage that. How can you be more efficient with your work, with how you show up, with how you are bringing your service to the world? How can you be more efficient with that? It also talks about breaking projects down into smaller, more feasible sizes, little chunks where you can manage it more easily and really become more efficient instead of perfectionistic when you're moving forward on those tasks. Breaking projects down into actionable steps. It's also about hiring service providers or assistants to help you if you need some help with the work that you're doing. If you know that it's going to, again, make you more efficient, then hiring help at this time is definitely going to be very useful. It will yield positive results. Listen to your intuition though when it comes to this. Like, really make sure that you are, trusting your gut feelings, trusting your intuition when it comes to hiring people. Really do your due diligence, right? Make sure that you look at multiple options before selecting somebody to hire. So do your homework, do your due diligence for sure. And if you see it fit, then most definitely hire someone at this time. It's also a very important time to think before you speak and to not get a little bit too carried away with your words. Virgo can be a little harsh. She has this energy. Virgo carries this energy of just being kind of like Sagittarius in a way, very blunt and says what they mean. And sometimes Virgos can just express themselves very abruptly and not realizing, that the words could be kind of a double-edged sword or cutting like a knife. So be cautious with your words. Definitely think before you speak, think the thought through before it comes out. And plan for the future. Really look at your plans for the future. What are the plans for the remainder of this year, the 4 months that we have left? What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to succeed with? What do you want to launch? What do you want to release? What do you want to move on from or let go of? These are all questions that this Virgo new moon is going to be asking us, because it wants us to really tap into that efficiency. It really wants us to let go, purge, and clear out anything that's holding us back, that's dragging us down. Projects, especially things that have been just on the back burner and just sitting there waiting and no action has been taken on. This is the time, definitely. It's like this new moon gives us this kickstart to go at it again, have another review, a revision of it. Even though Mercury retrograde is ending today, there are other planets going into retrograde, which I'll talk about in just a moment. And those retrogrades are obviously still going to be affecting us, but in just different areas of life. So right off the bat, Uranus is going to go retrograde actually on September the 1st, so in a matter of a few days. And Uranus, of course, going retrograde, and any retrograde of any kind typically is a time to rethink, renew, and review certain parts of our lives, right? So in this case, because this new moon is in the sign of Virgo, we're starting the month by reviewing emotional aspects of our lives. So this would be relationships, this would be harmony, material possessions, different things that move us emotionally or influence us emotionally. And of course, this energy is going to be felt individually and collectively. So just sort of prepare yourself for any critical pivots in these areas. Uranus, of course, is also the planet connected to unexpected, unplanned changes. So there is definitely an element of surprise with this retrograde that is taking place, like I said, especially in relationships and in our material possessions, what we have. So this could definitely influence money as well as just the emotional aspects, the way that we feel our emotions. There could be a rapid, unexpected change in that. As well that shows up for you. And so just kind of go with that. I want you to really lean into it and trust it. So as you are moving through these sort of emotional roller coasters, and one day you're like loving life and the next day you're hating life, just kind of allow yourself to level out, really, really take care of yourself. This is where that self-care comes in that I started off the video with, talking about how this Virgo new moon is asking us to redirect our attention back to our healthcare, our routines, our habits, right? And making sure that we're really, really nurturing ourselves well, because there is going to be this emotional aspect to it this month and throughout this coming cycle, right? Because this is about a 2-week cycle while the new moon moves back to a full moon. So this month, I'm going to say for the month of September, there's definitely a big emotional shift and change taking place. Again, the shifts continue with relationships. There's still a huge purging, like a coming and going energy very much present in the collective with relationships. So it's just people getting swapped out from our lives, right? People leaving and some people entering our lives, and that's all normal. So just you really give yourself a lot of grace. Allow yourself to really flow with these energies and just take it day by day. It doesn't have to be anything beyond that. Just day by day. How can I make myself feel really good today? And what can I do to improve how I'm feeling? If I'm not feeling well, pushing yourself a little bit beyond that comfort zone, going for that jog or for that run, or just even doing 10, 20 squats in your living room. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. It's just giving yourself a chance to revitalize, to wake up your system, and to move any stagnating energy out of your system. Now let's talk a little about Pluto in Capricorn, because that is going to be also another big player. As we know, Pluto has been moving in and out of the sign of Capricorn. It has crossed Capricorn. I believe this is the third and final time that is going to be crossing Capricorn. And Pluto, the planet of death and rebirth, of transformation, is most definitely still bringing that purging energy. So it's actually dipping back into Capricorn on September the 1st, and it's going to be there until November the 19th. So we have another solid 2.5 months of Capricorn energy, and Pluto highlighting all of the Capricorn energy that it is in. So Capricorn is about that hard work. It's also about management and taking action and leadership and all of that. So it's another round basically of restructuring and transformation, especially regarding rules, government, and authority. So those are the areas that are mostly going to be affected. As we know, this is also very much going to be affecting the elections in the states. And as you may or may not know, the US is having their Pluto return this year. So this energy is just really shaking up the entire country. It is shaking up government, leadership, rulership. And so how those are done, how it's conducted, all of that is getting a massive shakeup. And this specific Pluto in Capricorn is going to be overlapping with Election Day in the US this year. So there's definitely some interesting things, I think, that are going to be unfolding with regards to that, but we'll have to just see how it all plays out. But thankfully, the new moon in Virgo is going to bring a very grounding vibe to this entire energy and to everything else that is playing out. It's really going to help level things out. Virgo is an earth sign, so it brings calmness, groundedness, and anchors energetically for the collective. So this is a really, really good time to tap into those anchors within ourselves and ground ourselves, with different practices, different things like breath work, energy healing, getting some coaching, spending time in nature, all of these different things to just keep us level and stable as we do move through a relatively interesting time, we'll just say, over the coming months for the rest of this year. And the really beautiful thing about this Virgo new moon is that it actually is opening us up to change. It is opening us up to opportunities. And so that's a really, really beautiful thing, especially for the US elections, like I said. So there is this open-mindedness that is taking place energetically within the collective, within our planet, that is really, really supporting the election, that is really supporting all of us actually to make changes in our lives and to really bring and welcome new opportunities in. You may find, though, that your safety is most profoundly in the known, in the familiar. So it's going to be a dance between dipping back to certain familiar things that we do and certain ways that we live and that we operate, to being flexible enough and open enough to allow changes, allow new opportunities and new ways of doing things and trying things to also be acted upon, to also play out in our lives. So it's definitely going to be a dance. It's, yes, you want to retreat to the comfort zone. You want to retreat to what is familiar, what you already know. But simultaneously, this new moon is saying, okay, that's great. And you can use some of that, but also be open to change. Also be really, really open to just completely different outside of the familiar. And Virgo, being such an orderly sign, really, really strives for clarity, order, and harmony in all parts of our lives, including our emotions. So you may have this deep desire to organize everything around you. That could be including your friends, to really get everything emotionally organized. And so friendships or connections that are emotionally no longer fulfilling or no longer just on par with you, on the same level as you, or just where you're finding you're not clicking. So it's important to stay open to reorganizing, restructuring your friend groups, your acquaintances, people that you know. Perhaps it's time to do like a phone list purge, or go through your text messages and delete old messages from people that you're no longer in communication with. It's really just about making space, right? And Virgo wants us to sort of organize ourselves in such a way, or going through the inbox, your email inbox, unsubscribing from things that you don't follow, or things that are just really, cramming up your inbox. Things like that. It's just about clearing out, making space for those new opportunities, for those new people, those new potential friendships, and new potential love coming into your life, right? It's about really opening yourself up and making space for that. And because Virgo is also such a perfectionistic sign, it really, really loves that order. It really loves perfectionism. Instead of struggling for perfection, look for different ways that you can improve your life, improve your habits, or revamp your routines to be more efficient. And so because there are reviews happening, the Re's definitely enter the picture as soon as we talk about retrogrades, right? And so because we are still sort of in a review period, Mercury is still going to be in shadow for the next 2 weeks. So our emotions, our relationships, our attitudes toward material possessions are in review at this time with this new moon. So keep that in mind. You are going to be probably desiring to go through your stuff and maybe sell things off that you're no longer using or not making use of, right? Your attitude, you might find, shifts when it comes to your material possessions, and just kind of looking at what you have. Maybe you have too much stuff. Maybe you don't have enough stuff. That is all going to be highlighted. It's something that you're going to notice. And like I said, relationship review is still definitely on the plate here, as well as emotions, reviewing your emotions, really connecting to them and seeing what parts of your emotions are shadow aspects, like things that you still need to work on and do shadow work around, and what parts of your emotions are that light, airy, that nurturing, that very feminine energy that I talked about earlier. Where are you bringing that forth more within yourself? So there's definitely a restructuring of authority and a refinement when it comes to more efficiency that is taking place. And this is, again, micro macro. So this is the individual and the collective that is feeling this, that is picking up on this. It's even like the authority within yourself, right? Reviewing that authority within yourself, and how much is that authority within you in charge, in actual leadership, or how much are you constantly surrendering that authority to your ego, to your ego's desires, and listening to the little voice inside the head that always talks you out of things, right? Now, on the 4th of September, Venus is going to be conjuncting Lilith, and Lilith is definitely the sort of embodiment, the energy of the dark feminine archetype. This means we'll experience a pretty intense, or a pretty strong wave of feminine energy washing over us. And this is, again, more of like the darker aspects of the feminine. So this is where certain feminine rage can emerge from you, or different aspects of the dark feminine can show up and can bubble to the surface at this time. And this is regardless of your gender. So if you're a masculine and you need to really realign that feminine energy within you, then this Venus and Lilith energy is going to bring that forth. It's going to elevate and bubble to the surface all of the dark aspects of your feminine, meaning like, how are you not nurturing yourself? How are you not taking care of yourself? How are you not providing yourself with more self-care, self-love, compassion, patience, all of these very feminine traits? How are you disowning those parts of yourself? How are you ignoring them and not recognizing them? Those things might come up. Again, this is also like this rage type of energy can even come to the surface. So getting angry, getting very heated all of a sudden, unexpectedly, just emotions flaring up over maybe even little things. Notice and pay attention when that is happening, because those are cues that your higher self is basically trying to show you of like, hey, these things are unresolved within you. Hey, these things need healing, and it needs your attention, and it needs you to be more patient, more kind to yourself, and not judge yourself immediately as soon as you have a freak out or as soon as you get upset over something. Instead, try to dig a little bit deeper within yourself, and figure out, why am I having such an overreaction to this situation right now? What's getting triggered within me? This is the deep, dark feminine of Lilith. This is the energy that is really going to be pushing forth to the surface at this time, so that, again, we can clear and clear and clear. The whole purpose of our constant existence and the astrology and following the astrology is it's constantly guiding us towards clearing out more and more of the heaviness, of the density, right, that we are experiencing in third dimension, so that we can lighten our load and become even lighter and lighter, become more spiritually ascended, more mentally ascended, right? And have that brain-heart coherence happening, where the mind and the heart are completely connected, and you make your decisions, you make all your life choices based on that coherence, right? So this is what we're continuously moving towards, and this new moon in Virgo is just another step. It's like another baby step towards that. So some destruction could come with this Venus and Lilith conjuncting energy. It can most certainly play out in a destructive way. If it is destroying something, what is it that it is destroying? Because usually through destruction also comes creativity. So what is being created as a result of that destruction? What new is emerging as a result of that destruction, of something falling apart perhaps in your life? Taking a look at that and being super honest with yourself about that. So look at what is falling apart in your life right now, either already falling apart or could just come up, and things could start unraveling as a result of this new moon as a new cycle begins. But just take a look at what's falling apart in your life. And just keep in mind that whatever is falling apart, it is falling apart because a rebirth is coming. So it is progressing you towards a rebirth. And with this new moon, we also have a beautiful Mars in Cancer. Now, Mars in Cancer is bringing this energy of asking us to really, really tap into our courage, right? Mars is that fiery, let's go, masculine energy, right? And so it's asking us to tap into courage, tap into determination, into assertiveness, and really, really like go for things this time. Really allow ourselves to go all in on something and put our energy and effort into something that is going to yield something good for us in the future. These are things that are like emotionally important to you. So these are things that you're passionate about. These are things that you're like genuinely moved about. That's what this Virgo new moon is asking you, coupled with this Mars in Cancer, to really, really take a look at where you need to have more determination, more courage, more assertiveness within yourself to like just go for something. What is needing to be left behind and, sort of like dead weight cut off, so that you can have a new beginning, so that you can have this momentum to move towards something with courage, something that, again, emotionally really, really matters to you. So this could even be like social justice issues, literally anything and everything that has to do with either the planet, that has to do with people, that has to do with the animals or the natural world. It's like whatever you are deeply passionate about and whatever you are finding that really resonates with you emotionally are going to be the things that you're going to need to like tap into that courage to take action on these, to actually make a movement. See, we can't create change when we all just sit back and say, well, who am I to make change? I'm just one person. Yeah, but that one person, once you team up with other people, can now become a whole entire team of people who are like-minded, who are all interested in the same goal, right? So always take action on whatever you are inspired to take action on, because when you are inspired, you are in spirit. That's what inspiration is, and that's where it comes from. It comes from your spirit, from your heart. So it is definitely something that you need to move forward on. And last but not least, I just wanted to mention that Mercury, of course, is direct as of today, as of August the 28th. However, it is still going to be in that shadow period for the next couple of weeks. So there could still be little glitches with communication and with technology that Mercury tends to influence, right? Anything communication related and technology related can be very influenced by Mercury retrograde. So just keep that in mind as you move forward over the next couple of weeks until we hit the next full moon near the end of September. So I wish you a lot of courage, a lot of wisdom, and a lot of strength to just move forward with some things as we approach the end of summer and as we are about to begin a new season. By the time the full moon happens in September, we are going to be beginning the fall season. So this is sort of like this last push of the summer season where we can really get our ducks in a row, where we can really come back to that commitment and really start taking care of ourselves, taking care of our professional goals. And remember that the most important message with this entire new moon right now is efficiency over perfection. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and I really appreciate all the comments. I will see you in the next video. Take care.